Here is question 13 for your study guide. So this is actually another system of inequality problem. Okay, it says the graph of an inequality is shown. So you see the graph has one inequality done for you. Now on the same set of axes, graph the inequality 4x plus 2y is greater than 8. So we want to add another inequality on this graph to create a system. So the inequality is 4x plus 2y is greater than 8. I noticed in class today some of my students chose to find the intercepts and use those to graph. Some people chose to solve for y and then use the initial value and rate of change. Either way works. I'm going to go with the intercepts. I like to demonstrate intercepts often because on our New Jersey state test, NJSLA, we often have to use the intercept. So it's good for us to keep practicing that and not always convert it to slope-intercept form. We will get to slope-intercept in other questions today, so don't worry about getting practice for that. So if I put in 0 for x, that means I'm taking this equation and instead of x, it's an equality actually, I'm putting 0, right? Okay, so I took x and substituted with 0, so that's gone because that's just nothing, it's 0. So all I have is 2y is greater than 8. I'm trying to get y alone, so I divide by 2 and I get 4. Okay, so y is 4 when x is 0. Then I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to do it on the other side of the graph because that's where I have space. So now if I take 4x, leave the x, but I make y into 0, okay, so that becomes nothing. So I'm just left with 4x is greater than 8. I divide by 4 to get x by itself, and I have x is greater than 2. So 2 is what I got for x when y was 0. So that gives me my intercept. So those are two endpoints of this line. So 0, 4 is right here, and 2, 0 is right here. Okay, so I am going to create a line. Now I'm going to look at my symbol to decide if this should be a dotted or solid line. I don't see an equal sign, so that means I want to do a dotted line. If I saw an equal sign, I would do a solid line. But since there isn't, I do a dotted line because the points on the line are not included in my solution set. Then I see that it says greater than, so I'm going to shade above the line. Okay. If this was a negative next to y, then I would actually shade below the line. We talked about that where if you isolated y, you'd have to reverse the symbol. But because it's all positive, I can just say greater than means up. And I got it. So where's my solution set? Well, the solution set is the double shaded region. If you notice in part B, it says, identify the region of the graph that represents the solutions to the system. The solutions to the system are all the points in the part of this graph that is shaded for both of my inequality. So that would be this part of the graph. I'm going to highlight it because I could highlight on here. You guys can just like circle it on yours, right? But that's the part that was shaded for the original inequality and also shaded for the new inequality. So any points in that section of the graph are solutions to the system.